Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Esteemed FaceTime with Leaders, an initiative by World Development Corporation. I am Falak Khan, anchor at World Development Corporation. FaceTime with Leaders is a platform for industry titans to share their experiences, thoughts, ideas, and best practices in order to inspire one another and future leaders. In a nutshell, we attempt to encapsulate the multi-decadal learnings acquired by these industry leaders. We also hope that by conducting these FaceTime with Leaders interviews, we can bring together a global community of eminent personalities. By bringing together such visionaries on one platform, we hope to play a part in inspiring the lives of other leaders. Great learnings from great leaders undoubtedly assist everyone by identifying, nurturing, and using the trade secrets that are proven success formulas for many. And this is what we aim for with these sessions by making them a gathering of industry stalwarts and a knowledge sharing community. We have one such industry titan on FaceTime with Leaders with us today, Mr. Sandeep Sood. Hello, welcome, Mr. Sood. We are glad to have you here today with us on FaceTime with Leaders.
Hello, Falak. Pleasure is mine as well. Nice to be with you and a great initiative, I must say. Thank you for that.
Thank you so much. So let me give you a quick brief about Mr. Sandeep Sood. He is a general management professional having academic and professional immersions in science, economics, law, and management across geographies, institutions, and cultures, encompassing director development programs of IOD, Hunt Partners, etc. as well. With deep domain leadership, management, and strategy conceptualization, professional experience of 3.5 decades, he has been on the boards of several subsidiaries of large and medium multinationals in India and abroad. Currently, he is spearheading his startup, Amalgamate Ventures LLP, helping startups during their ideation and incubation phases. So, Mr. Sood, could you let our viewers know in brief about your career journey so far?
Thank you so much, Falak, for that fantastic introduction. I didn't know I'd achieved so much in life already, but I think you captured so much of my introduction already. Let me just add to the formal bit in terms of what has been achieved in this 3.5 decades, which you mentioned already. In short, in any case, because the journey is too long, very difficult to conceptualize and concise the entire situation. But yeah, I think it's been a journey which I would like to summarize as primarily in the manufacturing space, both India and overseas, as you very clearly mentioned, into B2B, facing companies largely speaking, with the core being in chemicals. Both basic to specialty, the entire spectrum of chemicals, engineering goods, and materials. That's the first bit I would like to say. The second bit, as you've already mentioned, it's been a journey which has been almost equally divided within India and overseas across various cultures and geographies. So right from Asian, various cultures in Asia, to Europe, to Middle East, to Africa, and to US, from where I came back to India to spearhead the operations, Indian operations of an American company, and then to a German company as well later on. Finally, it's been a journey which is also across various management categories and functions. So that's why it is a general management role. But although I started by the very center, which is at product management, then got closer to the customers, understood their need, got back to the shop floors, looked at operations all across geographies, and then got into leadership roles, starting as management trainee, junior management, then middle management, another 10 years, finally over the last 15, 17 years in board positions and leadership positions across various geographies and cultures, as I said, American, European, Japanese, Asian, largely speaking, and of course, Indian organizations. That's where I would stop, I think.
That's really very interesting and wonderful to know indeed. So what was the inspiration behind founding Amalgamate Ventures LLP?
So Amalgamate is an idea which is, as the name says, it's a blending. So basically all my experience, which I have assimilated over the years, I thought it's time, I don't have deep pockets to go about in funding and putting in venture where I go and do a seed investment into startups, but to participate into the American culture where I did spend some time working there in US as well, and getting back into India, looking at the Indian environment of startups. So along with capital, what I think most of these startups need is mentoring, is coaching, is compliance formulations to that extent. So all those good habits, which generally we in the larger companies in the corporate world, we practice in as a triple bottom line approach, which I am a very passionate proponent of. So I thought, let me start that by doing a venture assist program for all startups, where I groom them, mentor them to have these good practices of compliances, of looking at profits rather than only looking at the top line, start looking at the growth stage itself, at the inception, at the triple bottom line and the contribution to society. So Amalgamate Ventures is a assist program, a venture assist program, which assists selected startups in technology space.
That's really great. So are there any principles you live by in your professional life that you'd like to share with our viewers today?
Yeah, of course, there have to be principles in life. If you've got to spend such a long career in corporate world, you must have some principles to live and die with. To that extent, the first and foremost, of course, is the discipline. The corporate world requires, that's my firm belief, to lead a very disciplined life, not in terms of being very punctual about the timings as such, 9 to 5 office. I don't mean by that by discipline, but discipline of approaching work as it ought to be, and not really as something which is imposed on one to that extent. So I think that's one principle of discipline which I have practiced all my life. The second is, of course, perseverance, which most leaders generally always say, that you've got to be persevere. Success doesn't come easy to anyone, unless and until you inherit big wealth and you're born lucky. It's a different situation altogether. But most of us who start small, slog their life in middle class, then grow to that extent, have to persevere. Success doesn't come easy. It doesn't come easy even now. So I'm still persevering, trying to refresh my compliance learning through pursuing this directors program as well. Although I've been director now for the last 15 years in corporate boards, but it's time to try and refresh with the New Companies Act to that extent. So you've got to learn and persevere is what I would say as my second important thing. And third important thing is being adaptable, because just like flexibility in life is always very important. So if you are not going to be adaptable to various circumstances, to various cultures, to grow, always be open, being rigid in life. Sometimes we Indians have a mindset that we say, okay, you know, we only eat this food, we live by this culture, we practice only this religion. Those are rigidities in the system, which once you're open, adaptability comes from being open-minded. And that's what is important. So I would summarize these 3 points giving by my rule of 3. I always practice 3 things as my top most important things. And those are discipline, perseverance, and adaptability, I would say.
That's really great and great principles to live by, I must say. So as you have been on boards before, have you ever felt that a better corporate governance framework is needed to support India's booming corporate fabric?
Yes, most certainly. And that's why, as I said, the idea was, having served in executive positions as executive directors and now as independent directors, non-executive director on a few unlisted boards, especially on the unlisted sides. As I said, there is a need for startups also to have those culture of triple bottom line facing, of focusing on profit, people, and the planet simultaneously, that even unfortunately the bigger companies in India the mindsets haven't grown that much. Although growth has come, it is India's century, as everyone is saying, especially the next 2 decades for sure. For India, we keep on hearing Morgan Stanley, JP Morgan, every other big analyst company giving great rankings to India and its growth story. But growth will only come when smaller firms who are participating in this growth and the promoters and the directors open their mind to become good citizens. And good corporate citizens at that. So I definitely feel the need that there are compliance standards. The New Companies Act is very well written now and very well documented with substantive rules to follow, but compliances are still weaker. And that's something which I think we as independent directors need to take leadership and get that culture going. And the promoters need to open up their minds to actually become more global oriented in terms of governance and compliance practices.
Yes, indeed. So as an ESG and corporate governance expert, what values do you bring to the table?
I don't know. That's for the table and the people sitting on the table to decide. From my perspective, I'm pursuing my passion because, actually, it has been, as I said, governance and the environment have been two very dear subjects for me. I've been participating, got an opportunity to become part of the delegation of Government of India's initiative to write the Montreal Protocol when it was being done up the first time. So I did participate along with the government secretaries and ministers into the Indian protocol meetings when the country program on environment was being written. So an environment has been a very dear subject for me. Social has been as part of whenever I've been in India, leading global practices and becoming part of a board of directors, have been trying my level best to give it back to society, whether it's in setting up a special girls' school in north of India, in Himachal, which happens to be my state of origin as well, incidentally, putting up a special girls' school there from corporate side, to putting up a general school and a hospital in Maharashtra, in Pune, in Goa, where I was working for some time as well. So I think these practices of ESG need not be very well coded. It doesn't require for us to be complying to a law to try to practice ESG. It should come from the heart. And when it comes from the heart and we don't listen to the mind and say, okay, no, you are resource constrained, let's not go out and do it. So I think compliances and governance are two sides of the same coin. And as I already said, a triple bottom line is a very healthy concept to follow. Most corporates generally, and in India, ever since I've come back, I have seen still continue to large amount, continue to focus only on profits, creating shareholder wealth, whereas stakeholders have not been really brought to the fore to a large extent. So I'm sure, given my experience and given the learnings and now the refreshing which I'm doing, I should be able to contribute and pursue my passion that much more in both governance as well as on the ESG front.
So when we talk about technology, what are some of the most remarkable changes you have seen in your field with changes in technology? And what changes do you expect to see with the advent of IoT, AI, ML, blockchain, big data, and Web 3.0?
Wow, huge. Huge, Falak, because that's why in my LinkedIn profile, let me start from now backwards before I go to the changes part of it. I think I had to incorporate the word. Technology is changing so much. In my LinkedIn profile, I had to specially mention humanist. Okay, so I'm more a Sandeep Humanist Sood now. Humanist is my middle name. If you will visit my LinkedIn profile, you will see it's there, because as I see the future now, artificial intelligence and the synthetic human cloning will take human mankind so much that, like environment, past 3 decades, we've been working hard as human beings, as sapiens, to protect our environment. We have now reached a stage where we will have to, we've created a monster in terms of artificial intelligence. And if we as human beings do not protect our humanity, our natural intelligence and give everything away to artificial intelligence and to human cloning, I think we will only hasten the demise of human beings in this planet. So that's how fast technology is changing, evolving, and taking over most of the human functions, and human functions in terms of biological functions as well. So the human mind, the human heart, everything is going to get conquered by technology in the very near future. But it wasn't when I started my career. It was, as I said, on the shop floor. It was good old machines. We used to work by hand, good old kind of machines, mechanical structures available. So there was nothing till the time last 10, 15 years on shop floors and in the organizations I have worked, robotics came in, and we started seeing some of the challenging, repeatable jobs being given over on shop floor from normal workmen, especially in the Western world, in Germany and US, where I have been part of those cultures and shop floors. We saw robotics come in a big space to do most of these repeatable stuff. That was first big leap into productivity and efficiency gain. The next is, of course, now when you have most of these chat GPTs and the languages which have been cloned to that extent from artificial intelligence kicking in and now taking over. So I'm sure manufacturing shop floor, which is my domain expertise, and the board, which is where the natural intelligence is required. I hope and pray I will do my level best to block the advent of artificial intelligence on the corporate board tables, at least, so that we as human beings can continue to guide companies, organizations, and our all institutions in a very dignified, humanistic manner, rather than a very synthetic, artificial, unnatural way, is what I would say.
That's really wonderful to know. So as you know, we are building a community of industry magnets. The move is meant for cross-pollination of knowledge and building a knowledge-sharing community of corporate giants and industry experts. So what are your thoughts about these initiatives taken by Mr. Zishan Pathan, Mr. Hemal Mehta, and the whole World Development Corporation team?
First and foremost, my special thanks to Mr. Pathan, Mr. Mehta, and the World Development Council. I think I've been part of this initiative very recently because someone referred to me after I came back to India. So I thought maybe at this late stage of my professional career, let me participate and try to join a forum where you could continue to, rather than extinguishing all your experience and knowledge, continue to share and keep knowledge alive to that extent. So it's a great initiative. The little that I have experienced as of now, need to get into more engagements with the fora as such, and with great thinkers around. I've been always used in my life to be participating in various forums where you have great global thinkers coming and exchanging their views about humanity, about environment, about society, about governance, about compliance. And then this is one area which I found where all these practices we can bring together, including digital now, come together and discuss in one forum. So a great initiative, and I look forward to participating and joining, exchanging, learning more from people still, just to stay alive as human beings.
These were like really kind words by you. So it was fantastic conversing with you, and I'm confident that your insights will inspire future leaders. Thank you so much for joining us today, Mr. Sandeep Sood. We wish you the best for your future endeavors. Moreover, trust that this initiative by Directors Institute unquestionably expanded the participants' understanding and enriched their minds. Thank you so much once again for joining us today on FaceTime with Leaders. And I'm sure that all your different principles, your career journey that you have shared with us so far, I'm sure everyone watching this, it is going to help them grow in their careers too.
Thank you, Falak, for your very kind words. And then please convey my regards to the entire team as well, who've been very helpful in this entire initiative. Thanks, and God bless.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.